Well, my name is Stephanie Dyck, and I'm the Care Center Supervisor here with French Funerals and Cremations. So welcome to our brand new Care Center facility at our university location. So this here is our embalming room, and the actual room where any preparation of our decedents would take place. Everything in here is brand new, state-of-the-art, and we're very proud of what we've put together here.
And you've got 3 of these stations for preparing. So why don't we look at them in a little more detail?
Absolutely. So each of these tables here is a hydraulic table. They can each be lifted up or be taken down pretty easily. And this right here is going to be something that's going to be saving us from physically bending over. So the strain on our backs is not going to be as much.
I know that's a big problem in the funeral business.
It is. We really want to maintain not only the care for the decedents that we have here with us, but also our safety. It's always something we have to keep in mind. Taking care of ourselves, that way we can care for the decedents that we care for every single day. So also to help us, we have a brand new body lift system in this room, and this will help us to lift each decedent in a respectful manner, but also not put so much strain on ourselves as we move each of these people.
Can you show how you operate this? I just saw this at the Funeral Directors Convention, but for those of you watching at home who may not be familiar with this.
So something like this and it actually moves on this track very easily, so we're able to move it wherever we need it to get to very easily. And then on this little remote, we're able to lower these straps. So these will come all the way down.
And
each of these will unhook.
So you're able to feed that under a body while it's lying on the table?
Placed underneath the decedent, strapped back together, and then we can just pick them back up. And let's say all we really wanted to do was just move them to another portable table. Well, then from this point, we're able to go ahead and start moving them. So you can see it glides pretty easily.
Oh, very easily,
we can have,
wow.
You know, a partner on this side kind of stopping it, ready for us to, with a brand new table underneath. We can gently lay down that decedent. That's key. So gently lay down that decedent, safely move them over onto another portable table, and then we can go ahead and get this put away and back in its corner, and that way it's back ready for the next usage.
Do you wipe down those straps after every use?
Yes. So if you can see each of these ones, these are pretty heavy duty plastic here. So these are very easy for us to wipe down, but also if we needed to, we could you know, either wash these strips or just go ahead and wipe them down every day as well, which will happen at the end of each and every day. So as you can see, this place right now, it's nice and immaculate, it's brand new, hasn't been used, but our intention is to keep it this way. Even as we bring our decedents back and we're caring for them every minute of every day in this facility, we cannot take care of them and treat them with the utmost respect if this place is dirty or unkept in any way. So we will monitor that every step of the way.
And the thing that's hanging down at the end there
This is a headrest.
A headrest, okay.
So I will tell you that most of the time we're going to be supporting this person's head anyway, but this is a great little tool to help us move someone safely as well.
Okay.
So also you'll see at the end of each station this machine here. So this is an embalming machine. Each of these is brand new. Kind of the best of the best as far as these types of machines go.
State of the art.
Absolutely.
And how does this work? Just in basic terms.
So basically what we are doing, each of these stations has different chemicals that we use. These aren't all of them, but this is a good part of what we're using on a daily basis. And so as an embalmer, you are doing a case-by-case analysis. You are looking at the decedent that is in front of you that you're going to be caring for and determining what mixture, which way are you going to put these together to embalm that person properly. There's a lot to that process, but you're taking whatever chemicals that you're going to be using, you're going to go ahead and pour them into this tank here while mixing it with some water. So you're going to dilute that fluid a little bit. And you'll notice on this machine it's set to mix. So as you're pouring your fluids in, it's going to be mixing. And these two here, pulse and direct, that's your flow. That's how you want it to come out. So pulse, you can almost think of that as a heartbeat, as that's coming out, as a heartbeat. And then your direct is just that. It's a direct flow into or out of the machine into that person.
And when you're using pulse or direct, that is putting the chemical mixture into the body and it's pushing the blood out of
Correct. Yeah, so
system.
you are injecting the fluid into an artery, and then you are draining the blood from a vein. And so basically this is kind of helping that process along. And you'll see this one says automatic pressure. This machine here is able to sense anything in that body, whether it be a blood clot or anything like that, that's kind of holding up the process, and it's going to either take away or give more pressure as it needs to help that fluid go through that body. So that's kind of how that machine works.
You have gloves, because you're
Yes.
always wearing protective clothing.
Absolutely. So that's just the tiniest little bit of what we're wearing. But typically our personal protective equipment is going to be everything from a full gown to boot covers. We're going to have an apron on. We're going to have plastic sleeves. We'll have our gloves and then some sort of face mask also. Is what we're always wearing in here. Another feature to point out, something that's really neat to us, are these individual vent hoods. So these are all movable. You can move them in any direction that you need to.
Can you move?
Absolutely.
Let us demonstrate.
Yeah.
Oh, so it locks in a position.
So you'll see on these ones, everywhere you see one of these little blue dials, that is either tightening or loosening up one of the pieces to this. That way you can move it in any direction or anything like that you may need. So, I don't know how it's tight enough. These are still brand new. We're still learning how to get all this stuff going. But something like this is going to be really helpful. In our cases, maybe it's a person that has had an autopsy performed, and so now we're embalming them. So on top of our exhaust system that we already have going, our main exhaust system here, you have this to where if you're really being exposed to a lot of these chemicals, this is going to help to take those up. Excuse me. Suck those right on up. That way, as the embalmers, we're not breathing in those harsh chemicals all day long. So that's really important. This is a really, really big deal to us right now. This one's probably going to have a mind of its own for right now, and that's okay. That's what I get for messing with it.
And these up here.
Oh, these little hoses you see here?
Yeah.
So these are going to help us. They're not in yet, but we are going to have a separate hose that comes off and it will go to its respective table. And that's to help with cleaning and everything as we go through the embalming process. But these hoses here, even more so. So these are a lot higher pressure, but this is going to help with your simple tasks. Like, you're rinsing off the table from a distance, or you need to fill the mop bucket, or we need to take care of other things. So that's where these water hoses come in, very helpful to us here.
Why don't we talk about the safety features over here?
Some more safety, and what we always have to keep in mind here is we're dealing with very dangerous chemicals. And I think maybe sometimes it's easy to put that at the back of your mind and it's something you're not thinking about, but we have to respect not only the decedents that we're working with, but everything that we're using to prepare them. And so sometimes accidents happen. Something's going to happen in here. And whether you get a chemical splashed on you or if something happens, this is where we're going to run to immediately. So this here controls our emergency drench shower. And then this little device is our eye wash station. So if something happens, if it happened to you, gal, I bring you over here, help you wash out your eyes. If it's something that is directly on you, we're going to get you showered and get you out of here and start taking care of you. So.
And the lights up there indicate your ventilation system.
So this room has its own ventilation system. It's separate from any of the other rooms here. So right now that green light is telling us that the air is being recirculated in here. It's just running, it's being recirculated. If we switch this switch to exhaust, it'll turn it to red, and that's telling us that it is, working to get all those dangerous fumes and chemicals out of the air for us. So that's the main exhaust, and if you need to, then you go ahead and bring down one of your individual vent hoods, and that helps with that as well.
So after you've embalmed the decedent in this room, what happens?
So if they are embalmed, they will typically stay in this room with us. So all this area here is where these types of tables would be kept. So a decedent would be moved over to one of these tables, and this is where they will rest. And really they're going to be cared for every minute of every day that we are here with them. We work in here, all the time, and so when they are in here with us, it's constantly monitoring them to make sure that they are in the best condition possible at all times. So this is where embalmed decedents would be kept.
Right, because they don't need to be refrigerated.
Correct. So speaking of refrigeration, we can go on into this area. So in this refrigeration unit, this is the smaller of our 2 refrigeration units here at French. It's very loud in here, you'll notice as we go in. But this one is really going to be for our decedents whom we found out that they, for whatever reason, embalming is not going to take place. And no matter what, every single decedent that comes through the doors here at French is going to be cared for in a respectful manner, meaning they are going to be bathed. We are going to take the time to take off all that horrible stuff from the hospital. We're going to clean them up the very best that we can, get them in a fresh gown. If they need an adult diaper, something like that, we will take care of making sure they're clean and they're resting that way each moment that they're here with us. So this is the first, or the smaller, or 2 units.
Oh, and it is chilly in here.
And it's still quite a ways away from where it needs to be since we just turned this on today. So this one right now, we don't intend on using any type of like a rack system or anything like that. We will wheel those individual tables in here. So with that much space, we're looking in here, I would say anywhere from about 32 to 36 individuals in this room.
32 to 36, and did you say you do use a rack system?
We don't use the rack system in here. In our larger unit, we do.
So it would just be like those tables in the other room.
Right, we would be using those tables, either the larger stainless steel ones or the little narrower ones, whichever we needed to fit as many people as we needed to in this refrigeration unit.
Okay, and this is
so this little area brings us to kind of another storage facility, but in a different respect. So in here, each of these is just they're set aside for a decedent's clothing and any information directly from that family and from that funeral director who's working with that family to tell our team, the care team, how to get their loved one ready. So let's say this belonged to Jane Doe. Well, then Jane Doe's clothing would be hung here. We would have an information sheet here telling us when is Jane Doe to be ready. What are the special things we need to know? Did she want, hot pink highlights, or did she want hot pink nail polish? All those things are what we look for. And we have plenty of room here now, and with all these going on here, so every day it's something new. Right? This is an revolving door, if you will. This is always changing. But what we really have to pay attention to is keeping Jane Doe's items with Jane Doe, and so on, and all that kind of stuff. Here in New Mexico at any given time you could have 3 people with the last name of Sanchez or Chavez or something like that, or Smith. So we really need to make sure everything is for that person and for that person only. This area here, it's really designed to help us kind of, again, we don't want to be sitting down, we're very active, we need to be up and going. So this here is where us as the embalmers are doing a lot of our paperwork, meaning those embalming reports. Anything like that we need to be on top of. So our little working desk area for the entire team is back here.
And you have a washer and dryer here.
So washer and dryer here. Because like I said, we will always give someone a clean gown. If we're going to use any towels, anything like that, they will always be clean. We're not going to use a dirty towel from one person to the next. So laundry is a constant. We are running these all day, all the time. So hopefully they'll last. They're going to be good ones. Cleanliness is huge in our world.
Yes.
So we come to this room. This brings us to another body lift. So in this room is where we are doing hair, makeup. We are placing decedents in their caskets. And that's where this comes in. This is really going to help us get these people from their tables where they're resting, where they've been dressed and their hair has been done, their cosmetics have been done. And this is going to help us to move the exact same way. It's going to move straight along. We can turn it at any point that we need to. And then it lowers and everything else just the same way as the other one. So we can really get someone into their casket safely without having to lift them. Again, it's safely, it's respectful, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's all done in that manner.
And then in all these cabinets, you would have
all these cabinets, a ton of storage, right? So, but we are really wanting to put things together to where, just as we do in there, we have 3 separate stations, and they're going to be identical. And at any given moment of any given day, any one of us embalmers can step up to that station and work there because we know everything's going to be in its place. And that's the way this will look as well. So 3 separate workstations. I can bring someone over on a table. I can be dressing that individual. I can finish the dressing, start cosmetics, start doing hair, all that kind of stuff. And that's what's going to be in these drawers. So in here is going to be cosmetics. You know, we're going to have things like hairbrushes, curling irons, things like that. Everything that we need to get these people ready is going to be what's kept in here. And this is kind of where everything is finished for this person as far as leaving our care. This is where they're going to leave our care and then be taken to, you know, wherever their service might be or anything like that.
Well, this looks like a wonderful facility.
It absolutely is. We're very proud of it. We're very thankful that our owners did something like this for us, and it's our job to keep it up. So that's what we're here for.
Great. Any last words, as it were?
You know, I just want people to know, I keep saying we're very proud of this. We're, you know, and we are, but we, and when I say we, I mean me and my team specifically as embalmers, we truly care about what we do. We truly care about the decedents that come through these doors. And, you know, as fancy and as, you know, high class and nice and neat as everything is, all that's going to do is just give us maybe a little bit better edge than what we had before, but our hearts have been in this 100% since day one. So, absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to these sponsors of the Before I Die New Mexico Virtual Festival in 2020. A Good Goodbye, Gail Rubin puts the fun in funeral planning. After, a new way to stay connected with your loved ones in the cemetery anytime and anywhere. Aquamationinfo.com, where you can learn about alkaline hydrolysis, an eco-friendly alternative to flame cremation. Compassion and Choices, offering care and choice at the end of life. Daniel's Family Funerals and Cremations, and Gabaldon Mortuary in Albuquerque. Fairview Memorial Park and Vista Verde Memorial Park in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Avista Cremation and Burial in Santa Fe. DeVargas Funeral Home and Crematory in Espanola and in Taos. Estate Pros, which offers personal dispersal of possessions due to a move, illness, or death. French Funerals and Cremations and Sunset Memorial Park in Albuquerque. And Keeper, which helps you keep memories alive with online tributes to preserve, celebrate, and share life legacies.